Okay, hi everyone. This is Brian speaking, and today I am going to show you the new update on the African American communities. And as you see, I have four communities, which are early North Carolina African Americans, the Georgia coastal plain to central Florida African Americans, early Alabama and Georgia African Americans, and last, but definitely not least, early South Carolina African Americans. What I like about this new update is that it is in so much detail and it breaks the communities down into separate categories, which I find very cool, fascinating, and a lot more helpful. As you can see, I am from Georgia. I grew up only an hour away from Savannah. So if I have an accent, that means I'm from Georgia. I grew up in Georgia my whole life and got a lot of family down there. So let's begin. We have the early North Carolina African Americans. Let's see. Okay, it says my connection there is very likely. So that means there is a good possibility. And as you can see, it breaks it down into the categories as I was saying earlier. Deep South African Americans, Alabama and Mississippi area African Americans. That's interesting. And East Central Coastal Plains African Americans. I just love the new feature and I love the way it breaks it down into deeper detail. And that helps me a lot. Okay, so yes, we got those categories for early North Carolina African Americans. Now let's move on to Georgia Coastal Plain to Central Florida African Americans. Let's click there. And it says my connection is very likely. We have the northern coastal plain to South Carolina border county African Americans. And I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit more. And lower Ogeechee River Basin African Americans. Now, the lower Ogeechee River Basin African Americans will be right here. This small little area right here. Where the Statesboro and Hinesville area, that little section will be the lower Ogeechee River Basin African Americans, which makes sense because I am from Statesboro and I have family in that area for hundreds of years, so that makes sense. And the out one is the northern coastal plain, South Carolina border county African Americans. But yes, that's really fascinating. It's so cool to learn about. Like they Ancestry DNA did a great job. They really did a great job with this community update. I'm very impressed. Now we have the early Alabama and Georgia African Americans. It says my connection is possible. Okay, so there is a possibility that my ancestors was in Alabama and Georgia. And right here, this little area below Montgomery would be the upper, if I can say this word right, bear with me, Cornica River Basin African Americans. I hope I said that right. But this area right here where Troy is, that's the area or estimated area where they would have been, which I find really cool. Right. Yep, that's really cool. And last but definitely not least, early South Carolina African Americans. And I found that really cool as well. And I'm going to zoom in to represent the deep South African Americans. Like I said earlier, my family has been in this area for hundreds of years, and my roots down south is really, really deep. And I am proud of my heritage. I am proud of who I am, and I've been focusing more on my heritage, focusing more on what it means, and doing family research to find out who I am. And that's the beauty of Ancestry DNA. It kind of helps you get a sense of connection in a way. But yes, that's all my communities, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it below in the chat box below. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, that's great. But if not, that's cool too. I hope you all have a blessed day.